Good evening, everybody. Matrix here, and here's my watch list for December 3rd. All right, let's take a look at the futures here. We are experiencing a major gap up, mainly due to the news that Trump and the president of China talked over holding on tariffs and not increasing the tariffs to 25%. They're just going to keep it for at the 10% mark for now, and it's a little bit easing the stress of the tariff news lately, but it's not like they are coming out and saying, "Oh, no more tariffs, trade war's over." They're basically putting things on hold. Now, in a sense, it is good news, right? As you can see, the market is gapping up a little bit. So, looking at this right now, I mean, if we were to correlate this to the SPY tomorrow, I think the SPY is going to gap up at the open. And depending on this 200 SMA, I think it's going to gap up to about around 280 here because that's where the futures are holding. Now, at the open, I do expect a pull down because of an overextended gap up just a little bit. And if it starts holding 200 SMA here, this pink line, we should see a bullish run on the SPY tomorrow on the market. With that said, a lot of the tickers that are to be in play today that correlates with the SPY, they should be running along with the SPY, and tomorrow should be a nice day for long setups. As for my watch list, though, I've picked out 8 tickers to watch tomorrow, and they actually don't run according to SPY. They are kind of like the flavor of the day, if you would so put it. So let's get on with it. I've picked 4 long tickers to watch to long, and then I've picked 4 tickers to watch for the short. So let's go to the long side first, okay? The first up, we have SPLK. Now, this is a earnings winners reaction. Looking at this right now, I want to take a look at my notes. I noted August 24th. So around here, we have this gap right here. All right. Now, this ticker ran huge on Friday, right? Because of the ER reaction. It basically ran after hours, dipped at the open, and continued its run. I personally think the stock wants to fill the gap at the very least. So this is a long watch, and I like it to fill it at 115. So what I'm watching for tomorrow is a dip to hold and long from there. Now, where would the dip hold? Right now, currently, I'm watching the dip to go to about this 1050 area, which is these prices here, right? It could go as low as 110 as well. So 109.90s. Let's take a look at that on the intraday chart. So where did I mark off? 110.50s. Okay, 110.50s right here. So it's very close in relation of the spike during the ER here. Give it a little bit more wiggle room, and here's that 110. So I'm looking for the stock to pull down and hold from here. Also mark off this area 111 as well as a key hold number, and this stock late day as it ran, it basically held the dip late day before the close and then bounced right back up. So watch these 3 marks for the long signal. If it holds a sharp pull and take a long. If I were to explain this little chop action here, let's see if we can take a look at it. Yeah, this chop action here is basically accumulation, in my opinion. So it's the stock in itself is still looking bullish. And every time it comes up, it looks like there's a big boy trying to accumulate, buying and longing these shares. And you can draw a little bit of a trend line here. So the stock is still holding trend. It's a little bit overextended, not that overextended, but it's still overextended. So it could be a tougher long. However, I mean, if these marks do hold, then definitely long it, right? because it does have potential to fill the gap back up to 115 before the sell-off happens, before people start taking profits, right? I'm thinking along the lines of, if I were these guys who bought this 104, 105 dip, which I called, by the way, I called this dip to hold 104, 105 on my last playlist. And that's where it happened, right? If I were these guys who bought here, or if I were the institution and I was accumulating shares, where would my first target be? Major resistance and a gap fill right here at 115. I mean, taking a look at that. Also, taking a look at this major green candle, right? The low is 114.90, so definitely a little bit of a gap fill here. And that would be my long target before a profit take happens. All right, so SPLK. Next up, we have WDAY. WDAY also an earnings reaction winner. This stock closed really strong, a massive green candle breakout here. 52-week highs, I might add. So when a stock is running 52-week highs, it's usually not a good idea to short, at least not on the first day. So the first day is passed. Now, can it go up for another run? I definitely think so, because it closed so strong, right? And it is an earnings winner. Earnings winner does have a tendency to run. Now, looking at the news, all the analysts came out. They came out with like buy ratings and stuff. BMO, if I remember correctly, BMO wanted a buy rating target to 170. They initially had it at 165. So that in itself, I'm a little cynical about that. I mean, maybe they say 170, but they're probably still looking at 165 to sell. So we got to be careful about that. What I want to do, though, I mean, it is still a long chart. The chart is still looking bullish. I want to look for a dip to hold 163. All right, so this is the 163 here. You'll probably see it a little better on the 5-minute chart. Yeah, right there. So 163 reaction. Right here, a little tweezer bottom, all this goodness right here, right? So 163, if you were gonna use an other support mark, probably give it like 50 cents wiggle room, 163, 162.50. All right, so we have a very concise support zone right here. All right, I'm gonna look for a dip to hold and then bounce from there. A rip, test the highs at this 166.25 area, okay? The stock or the chart still looks bullish to me because we are in an uptrending channel, okay? So there's your bottom trend line, and there is your upper trend line there. So we are in this bullish channel. Some could say it's flagging as well, as you see this flagpole, right? So tomorrow, I don't think the stock, it might take a consolidation day and bounce back and forth between this area of the trend or the channel, right? It might not snap just yet. And if this breaks out, then it's gonna squeeze, and we should be looking for the 170 target. Okay. I think, I mean, if it gets back up and over 165 and starts holding, that's definitely a long. But I personally am looking for a dip, okay, to hold 163 and a double bottom or higher low from there to confirm that the chart is still bullish, and then I'm going to long it from there. That in itself is confirmation to me. So WDAY. Next up on the bullish chart, let's take a look at ANF. Abercrombie and Fitch. Basically, they had an earnings reaction, which is positive on Thursday. And Friday, because it was so overextended, it sold off. Now, the one thing I want to talk about is ANF have a lot of shorts in it. Okay? Ever since all this happened, right? It still have a lot of shorts in it. A lot of people want to hammer this down. I'm looking for let's talk about the inflection point first here. In my notes, I wrote off 20.37. So let's mark that off. I'm not sure if you can see it here. $20.37. It's basically the low of yesterday. Okay, so this would be a very key support area. But aside from the low of yesterday, I want you to take a look over here at the intraday chart at 20.37. Okay, right here. Now, what is 20.37 and why is it so significant? It's basically, if we take a look at the earnings day, or the day it came out with earnings, and I'm gonna look at this earnings spike here, this pre-market action, and bring it out to the first price of when they announce earnings. $20.40 is where it opened, right? All right. You can see here on the chart on the left corner, the opening price, $20.40. This in itself is an inflection point, in my opinion. So, I mean, if I were to zoom out a little bit and draw this horizontal line across, see how well the stock reacted at this mark right here. Right here. And all along the lines here, right, you can see how it reacted. So this in itself is a very, very key mark, 20.37 area. All right. I'm gonna look for the stock to dip at the open, as it's already pulling back a little bit, right? I'm still looking for the stock to dip at the open and pull back some more. It might have a massive reaction as it goes green to red tomorrow, and come down really quick. But the faster the speed, the better. I'm gonna look for this spot to hold again and then long it, and potentially pull it back up to the 21. If 21 breaks out tomorrow, we should be seeing it test the highs. If not, the opening price here, 21.82. And I like this for long, just because I know it's a tad overextended. It does need to pull back a little bit, but it is an earnings winner. There's a lot of shorts trapped in this, and the short squeeze potential is very high. Now, if I were to mark off 21 here, I'm thinking this is kind of like their line in the sand. All these short sellers that have piled in, basically they piled in here, and then they hammered it again. And then the earnings reaction, we got the squeeze, and then they sold off. And then the next day, they basically covered. They know this is a good earnings. They basically covered, and hence we got the gap up at the open on Friday. Right now, we are just in a little battle right now. So I'm looking for a dip to hold, and if it breaks out 21 and starts holding as well, that's also a long, and my target would be 22 at least. Okay, so that's ANF. And finally, the next bull chart I want to take a look at is ROKU. Now, the reason why I picked ROKU, this chart can actually go either way, right? We did form a doji. However, if you're looking at this right here, this here is a double bottom of 37.50, and I really like this action here. It's kind of like curling, and it made a higher low. Okay, it held the 40 mark. Now it's about to pop up and over the 9 EMA. So if it does pop up and over the 9 EMA, we are gonna watch this rip. However, there is a little bit of resistance here at 42.50. I do want to take a stab at it. Actually, I want to take a stab at it. I want to take a look at the support area. So anywhere from $40.30. So taking a look here, 40.50 and 40.30. I'll be watching for the dip. So right here, we have a support zone. Okay. And I'll be watching for the dip to hold. Now, scrolling back, why is this mark influential or significant? Well, I'm looking at this spot right here where it held and ran, right? And then basically, I think when I was making notes on this, I think I was taking a look at the daily chart. So let's see if I can revisit and find out why. Okay. I believe it was this candle. Low of day, $40. Yeah, it is. $40.30 low of day right here. Okay, we're sitting just a little bit above it. So I do want to see it test and hold. And then $40.50. Let's take a look here. Probably right there. So a little bit of wiggle room. I'll be looking for these two spots to hold. And let me see. Yeah, also the closing price of this red candle as well. It marked off really clear here. So two significant marks. This is the reason why I'm looking at $40.30. I mean, it did hold the 40 already. It showed us that it hold the significant price of 40. Okay. And it's already bouncing from there. So can it reach 40 again? Maybe, but I do think it holds. If 40 snaps, it's then this thesis would fail and it would be a short, right? It could come back down and test 40, but the first place I'm watching is for the dip to 40.30 here first. Okay, we are currently sitting at $40.80, so dropping 50 cents, not really a big deal. Pretty easy for Roku to do that, and let's look for that dip to hold and long it. That's my bull charts. Okay, so let's go to the bear side. I found Hasbro. Hasbro is a beautiful bear chart. I mean, taking a look at this dump right here, we have significant volume. On the intraday, we have the stair step pattern here coming down. Okay, it's basically stop losses getting hit, fail, and then holds, stop loss getting hit, fail, holds. Can it go down even more to the 90? It might. We are coming into a massive support area here, and even 91 right now. I mean, if you take a look at 91, you have all this support here. So it's a little dangerous. What I want to see is, since it is closing so weak though, and we see massive ceiling here, I am looking for a pop for rejection to short back down, and my first price I'm looking at is the 42 mark. So let's take a look at 42. Right there. So it's basically the opening of this green candle where significant volume happened. Okay, little cover pop back into 92 and look for the fail. However, since the stock did close so weak, we might get a potential gap down tomorrow. And depending on where it gaps down to, I mean, scrolling back, if it gaps down under the 90, it's going to be tough because then it'd be overextended to the downside. However, if it opens flat, which is ideal, and then pops out of the gates, rejects at 92, which my thesis is, I'm going to look for a short, look for a rejection, and then I'm going to try to take it down to the $90 mark in anticipation of the snap. If it does snap, we could come all the way down to this area right here at the 88. So I do see that short potential, a 4-point gain from here. This is why I like the chart so much. Yeah, so that's Hasbro. And then we have MEER, Marriott. Okay, so Marriott tanked after the G20 summit meeting on Friday here. No, I believe it was the Fed speak, and they were saying that they got hacked, and basically this action was because of that, of them getting hacked. So what I'm looking for is more continuation downside. Okay, and my first initial reaction would be looking for a pop at the open, and in my notes I wrote off 116.25 to 116.50. So right there and there. I'm looking for this mark to hold it down. This is a very concise resistance zone. Okay, so currently the stock is sitting at 115. We are kind of in like a wedge. The stock is a little overextended to the downside, but this resistance zone is very tough. It should be able to hold it down, because on the daily chart, I mean, taking a look here at 116.25, right, and even back then, it's basically right here. All this resistance here, right? Could be the high of days as well. So, and we do have a little gap here. So I don't think it can get back up and over. If it gets up close to that area, I'm going to look for a short signal and sell it down because of the bad catalyst and the relative volume as well. All right, so MEER. I'll also be watching ATVI. Activision is looking very weak right now. It looks like it's about to have its next leg down. It's holding a little bit under the $50 mark, so it's a key psychological hold number. Because the stock closed pretty weak, I am anticipating a little gap down tomorrow. It basically faded all day. This was a major miss. I'm going to look for the next leg down. It really depends on how it does at the 50 tomorrow. If it starts running up in the pre-market tomorrow and then starts holding the 50, I'm going to drop the short idea. Or I might actually watch the VWAP first, or I might just drop it altogether. It could come all the way back up to this 50-50 mark before it sells off again, but this is definitely a massive bearish engulfing candle, in my opinion. So it does look good for a short to me. I like to see it open flat and use this 50 to 50.25 mark to short. Yeah, and bring it down all the way to test this price here at 47.75, or even the lows here. So it could have another, it could have another massive down day. Yeah, so that's ATVI. And finally, we have EA. EA Sports, kind of like the ATVI chart. It's kind of looks exactly the same, right? So I'm looking for a pop and a short. Looking at this 84.50 mark, right? We're 50 cents away. Could even move it up a little bit more, maybe 84.75, right? Pop up and down, next leg down. Yeah, that's the idea of it. Bring it down to at least 83 first, okay? Because you see 83 reacts pretty well right here, right? And then if 83 snaps, we should be going down some more. So that's my idea on EA. Okay, so that's the 8 tickers I have for you guys tonight. Also taking a look at all the other FANG stocks like Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google. Some people might want to watch Tesla. All these stocks are in play. Amazon. Let's take a look at Amazon here. Amazon could be in play as well. Lots and lots of tickers in play tomorrow. Ooh, Amazon. If we are gapping up tomorrow on Amazon, wow. If it gaps up and over this 1750, I'm gonna expect the dip to hold and then rip right back up. So Amazon, very interesting. Lots of tickers in play. Just pick a couple. All you really need is one ticker. So thanks for watching. Make sure you click the like and subscribe. Check out the links in my video description, and I'll see you guys all bright and early tomorrow. Ciao.